Welcome back guys, hope you're all doing great. And today's in this video I'm going to show you how to use this Expo-IMage-Picker so that you can choose the image from your gallery or photo album and you can push them to the Firebase cloud storage. So allow me to explain this complete project, what we're going to build in this video. So you can see here we have this nice UI. If I click this, so that's going to load that nice loading animation. It's opening up your the gallery. If you click cancel, it will get back to the same pick an image. So let me click it again, and here I can choose any image either from the photos or I can switch back to the albums. Let me go back to the photos, and if I choose this image, you can see I can able to resize this complete image so that I can crop it properly. And if I can click the cancel, I can go back and I can choose a different image as well. So if I click this, and now you can see here we have an excess of excess image, so I can adjust it by using this square option over here. I can choose a specifics in this image and I can crop it. Once I click choose, so that is going to upload this image in the Firebase. Right now it's uploading, it's keep on loading. Now it's uploaded and it's getting back the download URL from the Firebase. So let's go ahead and please check that Firebase. Right now we have this images folder. If I click this images folder, we have this image which we uploaded right now. Over here, see, we have that image. Let me get back over here, and if I click this delete this image, if I click delete this image, that will be deleted completely from the Firebase also. If I click the images, you can see that that image is completely removed from the Firebase. So this is what we're going to learn in this video. I hope you guys are so excited. So without wasting your time, let's jump into the video. Alright guys, so let's create a new project folder. So I'm gonna create a new project folder over here, and I'm gonna name this as image picker, and let me open it in the Visual Studio Code over here. Now we have this, and let me open the terminal. So I'm using the Expo CLI to create the React Native application. So if you want to use the Expo CLI, first you need to run this command npm install -g global. So you need to install the Expo CLI globally so that you can access it at anywhere. Expo -CLI. So please run this command so that you can install the Expo CLI globally. Once you're done with this, I'm gonna initiate the project Expo CLI. Okay, sorry, Expo init. I'm sorry, Expo init. Okay, so here you need to type your project folder like app or my app or anything else. In this case, I'm going to use / because we already have our project folder. So I'm going to create exact in the same name inside this folder itself. So /. So that's going to take some time to create the project and everything. So now what we need to do is we need to create a project by using JavaScript or TypeScript, or you can use any templates or anything. In this case, we're going to use the blank minimal app, which is completely JavaScript. So plus enter. So this will take some time to create your applications and everything. In the meanwhile, please go ahead and create a Firebase project. So all you have to do is to click here and search for firebase.google.com. That will take you to their dashboard, that will take you to their website. And over here, if you haven't created any Firebase project before, all you have to do is sign in with your Gmail account and click this go to console option. That will take you to the Firebase dashboard where you can create the project. Okay, so here click this add project and give a project name and follow the rest of the instructions. Okay, in this case, I'm not going to create a new project. I'm going to use the existing project itself. Once you created the project, it will take you to this particular location. All you have to do is to go to the file storage, go to the build, and you can go to the storage. Okay, so before moving into it, all you have to do is to create an app first. So go to the project settings, and there it will shows you 3 different options. So it will show the 3 different options over here for your Android or iOS or web app or something. You have to click the web app. Okay, so what I need to do is let's get back to the build over here and go to the you can find like these 3 icons over there. In that case, like iOS, Android or web app, you need to create a web app. All right, so just go ahead and create a web app over there. So once you're done with this, go back to the build and click this storage just you need to click the get started option and choose the production. Don't choose the test mode, choose the production. Once you choose the production, it will take some time to enable the access and everything, and it will get back to over here and go to the rules section. All you have to do is to enable the permissions so that you can upload. So by default it will be false, change it to true. Later you need to update the security rules according to your requirements and everything. Over here, for the time being, just keep it as true. That's really enough for now, and we are done with this. And let's get back to the code. Over here our project is successfully created, so let me start it. Yarn start. So you can run the React Native applications in your mobile phone or in your web app or even in your simulators. So if you want to run it in your mobile phone, either it is an Android or Mac, oh sorry, Android or Apple, it doesn't matter. Just go to your App Store or Play Store, download the Expo Go app. Expo Go, you need to search for Expo Go. Expo Go, you need to search for this app. So please go ahead and download it and scan this QR code. That will open this specific project in your mobile phone itself. In this case, I'm going to use my iOS simulator. If you're using Android, please go ahead and install the Android Studio and enable your simulators. So I'm going to use the iOS simulator. Let me start by pressing I. If you want to use it on your web itself, you need to press W. That will gives you a list of packages so that you need to download it. Then you can use it in the web itself. So let me bring my emulator over here. So now we can see it's opening my project and the bundle is building. It's building the bundle. So once it's 100%, it's completed, so that you can see the live preview of your project in your simulator itself. It's loading, it's almost done. So let me bring it side by side so that you can see both my simulator and as well as my code. Okay, so now it's up and running. So first what we need to do is we need to install the Tailwind CSS for creating that custom UI. So search for Expo-IMage-Picker. If you search for Expo-IMage-Picker, that's a Tailwind package. So for the React Native, so if you click this, the very first link, nativewind.developer, you can see nativewind.developer.dev. So we already created the Expo app. All we have to do is to add this package. So just copy this yarn, add nativewind, create a new terminal, paste it. So that will install the nativewind, and then you need to add this developer Tailwind CSS as well. So go here, and it's still downloading. Over here, let me paste it. And let me get back over here. So second step is to set up your Tailwind CSS. So we need to create the Tailwind config.js just by running this command Tailwind CSS init. So copy, since we are using yarn, so yarn Tailwind CSS init. So that will initialize our Tailwind config.js. Over here, we need to update this content. We are instructing the Tailwind to monitor constantly this app.js and as well as the components, whatever we are yet to create it. So over here, I'm going to update this content, copy this, and I'm going to delete it, paste it over here. This is not going to be our custom directory. It's going to be the screens folder, which we had to create over here. Okay, in future, you might have a different screens. The Tailwind CSS needs to be monitored even on that screen itself. So that's the reason we are mentioning it over here. Then what we need to do, we need to update our babel.config.js. So copy this plugin and get back to your project and click this babel.config.js. Right after here, paste these changes. Then what we need to do is, all we have to do is to just update these files. So let's close this and open your app.js. So I'm gonna delete everything and I'm going to say rnfe. So you can use this snippet just by downloading this extension. So open your extension and search for ES7 React snippets. If you search for that, I think it's ES6 React. Where it is, one second. Let me scroll down. Here it is, ES7 React snippet. This is the one, ES7 React Native snippets. So please go ahead and install this snippet and as well as install this Tailwind CSS as so. Where is that? Search for Tailwind. and you can find this, and please go ahead and install this Tailwind CSS IntelliSense extension also, so that you can easily write the Tailwind CSS in your React Native or React applications. So close this, and I'm gonna say RNFE. That will create a React Native functional export over here. All right, so this is going to be safe area view. So once you added this, you can see by be having it right now, it's not showing up over there, but once you may save the changes, it will be hidden inside this notch over here. So we don't want that, so we need to enable the safe area view. So if I save these changes, now you can see it's over there. But if I'm instead of this, if I'm using view, look at that, the app is at the top of it, so we don't want that, right? So that's the reason we are using the safe area view. And now what I need to do is I need to bring everything in the center of the screen. So all I have to do is to class name, n should be capital letter, and here I'm going to say flex1, so it should take the complete length. In a React application, by default flex means row, but in React Native by default flex means column. So if you want to change it in a row direction, you need to mention it by flex row. In this case, I'm going to maintain everything in the column direction itself, so I'm going to keep it as flex1 itself. Then I'm going to bring it in the item center and justify center. I'm going to align in both vertical and horizontal in the center. So once I save these changes, okay, so that is we didn't find any differentiation, because since we altered the Babel and the Tailwind config and everything, so we need to restart our server. So let's go to here and try it reloading. It's not working, it's better restart it. So close this. All right, so I'm gonna restart the server. Yarn start. Starting the Metro bundler, and I'm gonna start the iOS. All right, so it's opening my Expo app and it's running the project. Make sure that the name, everything is perfect, app.jss, everything is perfect, native wind. Now it should come to the center of the screen, but still it haven't. What's the mistake we are done? So we did everything what it's mentioned over there. Babel config, custom. So yes, we did everything, but what's the issue? So let me check something over here. Not sure what exactly we missed. Let's see. Class name, it's going to be text blue. Let's give it as blue, and everything is fine, but why it's not working properly? Having some issue with my emulator. And let me open the Expo app one more time. It's loading. We made everything perfectly. Image-Picker. Look at that. Now it's working. I didn't change anything, just I closed my app one more time and then I restarted the server, and it's working perfectly fine. All right, so now what we need to do is, all we have to do is to start creating our UI. So in this case, I'm gonna delete this and I'm gonna bring one more view inside, not this one. That is going to be view, and I'm gonna make this view. I'm gonna add the padding px in the left and right 6, and it should take the width completely. Okay, my Expo app was crashed previously, that's the reason it's not working properly. Good, now I hope it's working fine. So w width full, save the changes, and now you can't see anything. Okay, so now what we need to do is basically we're gonna bring an image. So let's create an state. So I'm gonna say use state snippet, and that is going to image. Initially the image is going to be null. If there is an image, we need to display something. If we don't have an image, we need to display the area where we can able to pick an image. So I'm gonna say if not image, if you don't have an image, display this block of code. If you have an image, display this block of code. In this case over here, this is for pick an image section, and this section is for to display the image section. So please comment it whenever it's possible so that you can able to recall your code when that will be really helpful. Okay, in this case we are getting an error. What is that? Use state doesn't exist. So we need to import this use state. So import it. Now we imported it, and in this place, instead of this message, I'm going to display. Okay, so we're going to bring a small box which is going to be a button. Okay, so for that case, I'm going to create a view, and inside this view we're going to have text. Basically it's a text, and that is going to say pick an image save changes. Okay, now we can see we have a pick an image text over there, and this is going to be class name equals. So we're going to bring a border. Okay, so first for that I'm going to fix the width and height. Width is going to take the 100%, height is going to take 64, that means 256 pixels, and of course I'm going to bring the border. So border, it's going to be border 2, and the border, it's going to be dashed, and border gray color is going to be 200, and rounded MD save changes. And look at that, now we can see the border, and of course BG gray is going to be 50. Now we can see some differentiation over there, and I need to bring everything in the center of the screen. So let me enable the word wrap, and here I'm going to say flex item center, justify center. So now that will be in the center location. So I'm going to say change some styles for this text as well. So this is going to be text Excel and text gray 700 and font semi-bold. Save the changes, and that looks like that. Okay, so since we need to make this to look like a button, so right now it doesn't look like a button, and for a view you can't write on press event as well. So to write an on press event, we need to change this to touchable opacity. So touchable opacity is something like whenever you click it, it will show some animations like something like you are tapping something, okay, like a button. Okay, so here I'm gonna say touchable opacity. So install this, import this React Native. So click this and make sure that is imported over there. All right, so now for this, save these changes, and now if you click this, now you can see it's having that opacity animation, the fade in and fade out animation, so that we can easily identify it as a button. So now I can add an on press event as well. So whenever I click this, I'm going to call a function called pick image. So this function is not yet created, so get back to your app over here, and let's say const pick image open. Okay, in this right now we are not going to add anything inside, just we're going to create this. Okay, so now what I need to do is whenever I click this, I need to enable the loading option. So for loading purpose, we're gonna have an activity indicator, okay, which is provided by the React Native itself. So what you need to do is we need to create one more state over here. So use state snippet is loading. By default, we're going to keep it as true. For the time being, we're going to keep it as true. So what I'm going to do is, if it is true, at this location, we need to bring that loading symbol instead of this text. So what we can do is, I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to say, if the loading state is true, that means we need to display a block of code. or else we need to display this text. So at this point, I don't need this React fragments. I can use that component itself. Here, I'm going to bring that activity indicator. So save the changes. So instead of this, right now you can't see that pick an image because right now our state is true. So if this is true, instead of this React fragments, I'm going to bring a view, and I'm going to say class, add a style for this, and I'm going to say flex. Item center, justify center. And inside this view, we're going to bring the activity indicator from the React Native and make sure that is imported over there, and it's a self-closing tag. And this is going to have three different properties. One is color. The color I'm going to use for this is going to be #ff0000. Okay, and then animating, enable this animating. So size is going to be large, small, normal, and large. In this case, we're going to use the large. Save the changes, and now you can see we have this nice indicator over there. Okay, so whenever we are clicking this, we're going to enable this is loading state so that it will show it like it's loading or something. So here we're going to change the state to false. So right now it will show us as pick an image. Okay, so now what we need to do is whenever I click it, it's gonna load that image picker option. So to do that, to work with the image picker and all those things, we need to bring an image picker. So let's go to your browser and search for Expo-IMage-Picker. Over here you can see the image picker. So click this documentation. So it's provided you a nice documentation so that you can follow through it easily, just like the same way for both Android and as well as the iOS. All you have to do is to install this Expo-IMage-Picker. Since we are not using the npx or npm, we are using yarn. So copy this Expo-IMage-Picker. So get back over here and go to your terminal, and here just run yarn add Expo-IMage-Picker, enter. So that will download and install that Expo-IMage-Picker. So scroll down. So you need to configure in your app.json or app.config.js. So what we need to do is we need to update this specific line. So under the Expo, you need to create an object for your plugin and you need to add this. So basically we are enabling the permissions over here. So photo permissions or camera permissions, microphone permissions. So you need to add all these permissions over here. Okay, so the description, you can see there are some restrictions. It's showing only for iOS. Okay, so if you're using these parameters and permissions and everything, this is only for iOS. Okay, so let me copy this. Since it's a React Native, it's a hybrid, it's better to add. So over here, this is an Expo object. So this we have, it's open. Okay, from here you can see we have two array objects and we are copying it from here. Copy it, and let me go back. Right now you can see the packages is downloaded. Let me close this and go here and go to the app.json Expo. This is the place where it's getting finished. That means this is the last object, comma, and paste it over here. Save the changes. All right, since we are not using the camera or microphone, if you are using a camera or microphone, just like the same way, use that object and give some description. All right, so next what we need to do is, all we have to do is to write a function exactly the same way. Okay, so here we already created a pick image and we need to change that function as an asynchronous function. So let's get back to the app.js and let's change this function as async. And inside this function, I'm just going to copy the exact same code over here. Let result from here, and I'm just going to copy this completely from here to here. Copy it. So basically over here you can see we are using the image picker and we are launching the image library async, and we are getting the media types. We are getting all the media types and we are allowing the user to edit it, like cropping and all those things. And this is the aspect on what exact ratio that you need to keep it. Okay, if you want 1 on 1,1 or 16,19 or 9,16, so that you can fix the aspect ratio over here and use the quality level also. And if you scroll down over here, you can see if the result dot cancelled. Okay, if you are canceling it, what you want to do. If you're not canceling it, what you want to do. Basically here we need to check this object. If we are not canceling it, I need to set that image URL. So I'm just going to close this. I don't want this console log. So if you are console logging it, you will get the object like this. Okay, so I removed this console log. Reason because I have the object. I can view that complete object in the documentation itself. So here you can see we are getting the assets, and inside the assets you are having the URI. This is the URI that we needed. So the file data which we needed it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are getting the result, and in the assets, the first array, in the first index, this is the array. You can see in the first array you can have your URI object. So we are setting that to our image. If we have that object, we need to display the image over here. Okay, this will throws an error because we haven't imported this image picker yet. So let's go up and over here and copy this image picker from here. Copy, and let me go and import it. Now we imported it successfully. Save the changes. Now if everything is working perfectly, it should be we need to enable this loading as well, right? So over here I'm just going to say set is loading as true, and once the image is set it successfully, so I'm going to say set interval and keep it as 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, it's need to say set loading as false. It's need to turn off that loading of animation. All right, so now if I click this, that's going to enable the loading, and it should trigger our gallery. Okay, look at that. So initial boot up, it's a little bit slower, and even if you are canceling it. Okay, so right now we canceled it, but nothing is happening because we haven't checked the cancel state over here. If the result is not cancelled, what you want to do? If it is cancelled, we need to do something. So else, I'm gonna copy this set interval, and I'm gonna bring it over here, save the changes. All right, so we need to reload this app, reload it, and now it's opening the project one more time. Okay, and I'm going to say the set image as null as well for double verification. Instead of this, I'm going to keep it as null. All right, because if the user is canceling, we need to keep it as null. So here, pick it, and now I can choose an image. If I click this image, you can see it's showing that aspect ratio which we fixed over there, and if I cancel it, it will get back to the gallery, go to the albums or anything. And if you choose this image, you can see we can adjust it. Okay, so now if I click choose option, this will be set it over here, but nothing will happen. See, now we have our image in our image tag, so this is working perfectly. If not image, this will be loaded. But if we have an image, we haven't written anything. If we have an image, what we need to do, we need to display that image over here. So let's get back over here, and right after this line, I'm going to say if I have an image, then I need to display this. What we need to do, we need to display the view. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this exact same styles, width, size, and everything exactly same. So let's bring the view inside. Class name, width is going to be full, height is going to be 64, and it's going to be rounded empty, and the overflow, it's going to be hidden. Okay, and then we're gonna bring the image, everything in the center location. So flex item center, justify center. Now here we're gonna bring that image, so we're gonna use the image React Native. Use the React Native and make sure that is imported. Perfect. And let me close it as a self-closing tag. Then I'm going to supply the source. So inside the source, you need to always apply the source by using URI object, not the URI object which is coming from your image result. because the image tag itself inside the source, which has its own URI object. Basically, you are supplying a string, a URL, so that should be wrapped inside the URI object. So colon, and I'm going to supply our state, which is having our URL right now. Okay, then I'm going to fix the height and width. So class name is going to be, it should occupy the complete width and height of the view, its parent view over here. Save changes. Now it should display the text. It should display the image which we're having in our image tag. So we successfully choose our image and we have our image in our hand. Okay, so then what we need to do is, I need to display a button over here which is going to display the text like delete this image. So let's bring the button from React Native, close it. Okay, make sure the button is imported. Cool. And now what we need to do, this button is going to be a self-closing tag, and it's having its property called title, so that where we can define the value for our button. So delete this image and save changes. Now you can see we have this button over here, delete this image. Okay, if you want to wrap this button into a touchable opacity also, that's also fine, but for the time being I'm just going to keep it as simple as that, just like this. So now what we need to do is, right now we having our blob data over here, right? We have our data over here in this image. So just right exactly after here, instead of using the local data, I need to save this image in the Firebase, and I need to get the download URL back, and I need to display that image over here. So to do that, we need to install the Firebase package. So let's open our terminal and add yarn add Firebase. So this will take some time to add the Firebase in our packages. And so in the meanwhile, what we need to do is, let's go to our Expo documentation, or in the browser search for Expo Firebase storage, and that will gives you this URL using Expo documentation, using Firebase and Expo documentation. And you can see using Firebase, if you scroll down, we already installed the Firebase, and if you scroll down a bit, this is the configurations. Let's do that configuration later. And if you scroll down, you can see what are the things that we're gonna use, like if you're using authentication or real-time database storage, it gives you the documentations. Click this, and that will take you to the Firebase storage, how exactly you need to configure and everything. All right, in this case, what we can do is that was an example code. Where is that example code? Firebase storage, no, not this one. That was an example over here, I think at the end, I think so. Here it is. See, you can see Firebase storage example. So if you click that, that will gives you this GitHub, and go to the app.json, and you can see the complete the code, like how exactly you can write the upload code and everything. We're gonna use this upload image function. We're gonna use this code to get that. So what we have to do is, so let's get back over here. We already installed the Firebase, done. So now we need to configure our Firebase config.js. So let's go to the Firebase, our application, and get back to the this cog. Click this cog icon, click the project settings, and if you scroll down, you can see your configurations. So copy this and get back to your project and create a new file in the root directory called firebase.config.js, and I'm gonna paste it over here. So we need to install import a certain packages. So let's import that certain packages. Import from first Firebase/app. Let me copy and paste it. And second one is going to be our storage. So from the app, we're gonna get the apps, which gives us a list of active app, and we're gonna get the app information as well and initialize the app. and we're going to get one more method called get storage. All right, so I'm going to create an app, const app. I'm going to get the list of active apps in our Firebase project. If you have more than one app, we need to get that app's informations. If the apps.length is greater than 0, then get that app informations. Otherwise, initialize a new app with this configuration. Okay, so then what we need to do, we need to get the storage. So const storage is equals get storage with the app, get storage with this app configurations. Then I need to export these both, so I'm going to export the app and as well as the storage object. Save the changes. Now our Firebase config is done. So next what we need to do is get back to the documentation over there, and let's see, we are done over here. Next step, important step, is to configure your Metro bundler. Of course, if you're using Firebase version above 9.7, you need to configure metro config.js file. All right, so what we need to do is we need to configure this file. So all we have to do is to copy this. We can create this file. So let's copy that name, copy this name, like copy, and over here let's create a new file, metro.config.js, and then copy these commands and paste it over here. All right, so save the changes and that will be updated right now. Okay, there is no issue at all so far. Build is successfully completed, no issues. So then what we need to do is we just need to write the code to upload our images to the Firebase. So we all successfully did so far. There is no mistake so far. Okay then, so now what we can do is get back to your app.js, go to your app.js, and over here now what we need to do is, so we need to create one more function just like this same function, like uploading image async. So let me double click this. Come on, I can't copy it. Copy, and right after here we're gonna say const and create an arrow function, and this function is also going to be an async function. Enter. Okay, so now what we need to do is basically we are sending as a request. Okay, so if you wish to learn why exactly we are using it as an XML, HTML, HTTP request, so please copy this link and go through the issue, what exact issue that the Expo is facing whenever you're trying to upload something to the Firebase storage. Copy this link and go through this GitHub forum discussion so that you can see like why exactly we are using, what is the issue and all those things. So please take your time and go through it. Okay, so here I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it over here. All right, so we successfully pasted that information over there. So then what we need to do is we need to send that URL what we're having inside our hand into this function. Okay, then what we need to do, all we have to use, we don't need to change anything at all, just we are using sending the URI object exactly the same. All right, so right after that we're gonna get this file reference. Okay, and it's using the UUID, so we need to install that package. You can see here what the exact package it's using, UUID. That means it's the package which helps us to create the unique identifier. So if you want to use that, you can use that, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use the date.now, which is going to create a unique time string. Okay, we're going to use that timestamp to create the unique identifier. If you want to use that package, please go ahead and download it and use it. and over here, so right after this line, that means right after here. So we're going to create our storage reference. So I'm going to wrap it this with inside the try and catch. If there is any error, I'm just going to say console.log that error, or I'm going to say alert error. Along with that error, we need to display that error. So error, use the string literals, and I'm going to say that error, save the changes, and right inside the try block over here, I'm going to create that reference. So const storage reference is equals reference. So we do have our storage reference inside the firebase.config, so import it. Then I need to supply the image name. So please go ahead to your Firebase project and go to the storage and create a new folder over here in this name as images, because maybe in future you might have upload audios or videos or whatever it is. So we need to keep our storage as well as clean. So create a new folder over there, and here I'm going to use the string literals, and I'm going to say image slash, and I'm going to create a name for that image, like image, and I'm going to bring that time string over here. So dollar, and I'm going to say date dot now. So this method will helps us to bring that milliseconds numbers. Basically it's a format of your date. It will give us a milliseconds numbers, so that will be unique because it will take that timestamp and it will bring that. So each seconds the number will be different, right? So that's why it will be always be unique, and we're gonna prefix that number with the term called image. So every time whenever you're uploading an image, it will be in a unique way, and it will be pasted inside this images folder, not image, images. Type your folder name over here, make sure that there is no spelling mistakes. Okay, so then once we have that, what is the next step over here? We need to upload it to our database, right? So for that reason they are using the upload bytes. So these are nothing but this is the functions which is coming from your Firebase itself. If you go here and if you open the Firebase documentation, and there itself you can see what is the way to upload. If you click the upload files, and you can see they are using the upload bytes method to, then you need to supply your storage reference and along with the file. This is in the case we are going to use the blob data, so that's the function we're going to use. So I'm going to say const we can keep it as result equals await. Make sure that this function is an async function, and await upload bytes, which is coming from our Firebase storage. Upload bytes, and you need to supply your storage reference, and along with that you need to supply your blob data. Okay, we have our blob data in our hand. Okay, so we need to supply it inside over here. Save the changes. All right, so now what we need to do, we need to make sure. Okay, then so let's see. I think everything is done. So now we need to call this function right after here, because this is the place where if the user is not canceling and if he selected any image, we are having that image over here. So I need to send that to our function. Copy this function, paste it over here, and send this result assets URI. Delete it, and of course this function should return your download URL, right? So this is the place where we are uploading it, so we need to close that blob connection. So once we are done with the blob, we need to close it. So blob.close. Okay, so you can, if you go here and if you see this example, you can see they close that connection. Then we need to get that download URL. We haven't get that, so let me copy and get that and paste it right over here. I did copied it. So copy this, paste it over here, and import this from the Firebase storage. And this is not your file reference. This is our storage reference. Supply your storage reference over here. All right, save the changes. And now this function will be called and it will sending the data, and it's returning back our URL, right? It's returning back our download URL. So what I can say is const upload URL equals, and it should be wait until this is done. So await. So now we have our upload URL back because this function will get called, and we are passing the user selected image, which is a blob data. So we are getting that blob data information in our hand by using this HTTP request, and then we are sending it to store it inside the Firebase by using the reference. We are creating a reference, and using the upload bytes function we are supplying that blob data, and we are using the get download URL to get that storage, and that will come back over here, which will be stored in this URL in that variable, and we need to set that to our state. Upload URL done. So now you can see we have our image over here. Okay, so let me reload it. Okay, so now all we have to do is to go back here and click this images. We don't have anything yet. Let's get back here. If I choose this image, it's loading. If I select this and if I choose this, this should reference doesn't exist. So we have an error. We haven't imported the reference. Yes, so we need to import the reference. Save the changes. Error is handled perfectly, no issues. Click this one more time, choose an image, click choose, and nothing is happening. Look at that. The image is uploaded and the state is uploaded, and it's click this image. You can see we have our image in our database. It's successfully done. But there is a problem. I noticed that because once the image started uploading, we haven't changed the state. So if the image is being uploading, it should set the state as true. So what we need to do is everything is fine. We'll see that this loading animation is not displayed over there. I'm not sure why. We'll see that. We'll fix this delete and then we'll check it out later. So let's go here, and we need to delete this image. If the user doesn't want this image, he need to delete it, and as well as he need to change a new image as well as, right? So what we need to do is, all we have to, okay, so now what we need to do over here, this is the delete button. So for this, I'm gonna say on press delete image. I'm gonna create this function right exactly after this. So const delete image equal, and this function is also going to be an asynchronous function. And over here, now what we need to do is we need to change the state. Set is loading as true, and I'm gonna delete this object from our database. So first we need to get the delete reference equals reference of storage and the URL which we having inside our image state. Then I'm going to use this delete object method, which is from Firebase storage. Make sure that is imported, otherwise we will get an error. Where it is? Here it is, delete object. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this inside the try and catch. I'm gonna paste it over here. If there is any error, we're gonna throw that alert. Okay, and we need to supply this delete reference inside this delete object. If it is everything is fine, that will return a promise. We need to capture that promise. Then what we need to do, we just need to say that set image as null, because that image is deleted, so that we need to change it to null. Then I'm gonna change this set interval time, set interval, copy this and paste it right after here. All right, so save the changes, I hope this will work perfectly. So if I click this delete image, look at that, it's fine. Okay, so now what we need to, if you click this pick an image, it's showing, and let's make sure whether it is deleted or not. I think it's deleted. Yes, it's deleted. Now if I choose this image, now if I click choose, it should show that option. I think again my Expo app is crashed. So over here there is no issues, but my Expo app is crashed. I don't know why. Let me reopen my Expo application. It's loading. Due to some reason, my Expo app is being crashed every single time, like today, just today. I don't know why. So over here my project is opened one more time. If I click this, it's loading and it's showing that image. Let me choose this image, and if I click choose, it's loading again. It's been crashed. Here if I refresh it, we have that image or not. No, we don't have that image. What's the exact issue? There is no issue over here. It's just showing the previous issue only. So let me stop the server and let me rewrite it. See, it's the problem with my Expo application. It's being quit unexpectedly. I don't know why it's keep on quitting. Let me close it. Maybe because of the simulator I'm having some issues, I think so. I need to change the version. Maybe probably that might be a fix, but I don't know why exactly it's keep on crashing. See, it's keep on crashing. I don't know why. So let me open the simulator. It's opening the 14 Pro Max simulator. It's opening. It's loading. So please drop a comment if you also facing the exact same issue right now. Let me know. Otherwise, is there is any solution, please comment that as well. So now if I click this, it's loading and it should display the pop-up. Let's choose a different image right now, and if I click choose, it's loading and it's uploaded right now. See, it's uploaded and it's displaying the image. If I go here, if I click this images, you can see we have our image over here. And now if I wish to delete this, if I click this delete, that will be deleted as well. Look at that. So we successfully finished the task which we are planned to do. So we created a nice UI and we uploaded the image into the Firebase by using the Expo-IMage-Picker. So I hope you guys are so satisfied with this video. The reason for the crash of my Expo app, I'm not sure what exactly, maybe because of this simulator, I'm not sure, but it's not because of this code. The code is completely working fine. So no worries. If you're also facing the exact same issue, please type it in the comment and we'll try to figure it out what exact that mistake will be. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video with more interesting topic. Bye bye, take care.